This is a Sears and Roebuck Model 5M, and it is 22 Magnum with 11-shot tubular magazine, lever action, made around between 1967 and 1970. I got my light on my phone here. That's why you see that light. It's in super nice condition. Looks like you just went to the store and picked it up in 1967. Has some really nice wood. The bluing is just unreal for being this old. I mean, you're looking at what, 50 plus years old. I don't think this thing's been shot too many times, that's for sure. It's got a really neat bolt. Let me get the flashlight or the light off the camera. There you go. It's got a nice bolt. The lever itself looks brand new. Now that's a cast lever. It's not top quality. And then this receiver's aluminum cast. Cut out for a scope. So you can put a nice little scope on there. See how beautiful this side is? And then of course this side's nice too. And it has a couple little dings on the wood, like there's one right there. Right there. And there's one, I think there's one on the, oh, there's one right there. So, all set up and ready for my swivels with a nice leather sling. Get like maybe a sling that's vintage to the years. Let me explain this over here, how this is. So this says Sears Model 5M, 22 Winchester Mag, right? And of course it has the Sears Roebuck and Company. And then there's the actual model number, 2732351. That's how they used to do the old Sears guns. They used to stamp their roll marks with those kind of serial numbers, or model numbers, I mean. Funky 6-digit, 8-digit, 9-digit numbers, you know. Instead of like, I think the 5M model number is cooler than the lower numbers there. The 7-digit number. So I don't know why they have two model numbers on there. I mean, that I don't understand, but this side's really good shape. Look at that. Looks really nice. Okay, again, it holds 11 rounds, one in the chamber. Wood is really nice on the forearm. Okay, has your thumb safety right there. That's about it. Pretty simple 22 Magnum lever action. Again, it's not top quality. It's not like your Winchester Model 9422, but it is a 22 Magnum, which is very highly collectible. A lot of people want these 22 Magnums. Now, a little bit of history about this. It is made by Winchester, even though it's a Sears stamping. I don't know if too many people know. Back in the day, Sears and Roebuck used to sell firearms, just like Kmart, just like Woolworths. And I'm at the age where I used to buy some firearms in those stores. I used to walk into Sears, back in their sporting goods section, pick up a firearm, ammunition, or whatever. And most of the guns were stamped with their name on it. But the manufacturers were all different manufacturers, and they were the name brand manufacturers that made them. Like your Ithaca, your Winchester, your Remington, your High Standard. A lot of High Standards were sold by Sears. Kmart the same way. And then Kmart used to be a little bit on the cheaper end, and they would get some firearms that were made in Brazil, like FIE distributors would bring in their firearms, and then of course Kmart would stamp their roll mark name on it. I remember my first single barrel shotgun was from Kmart. It was like the cheapest thing ever. It was like $70. At the time it was cheap. I mean, that's what I can afford at the time. I mean, I guess it wasn't cheap for me because $70 was a lot of money. But it was a really cheap shotgun. And break open, single barrel, 12 gauge. I just thought it was the greatest thing in the world at the time from what I can afford. But again, okay, this is a Winchester made. The model, the original model for this particular 22 Magnum was Winchester Model 255. So if you come across a Model 255 Winchester, this is the exact same model under the Sears Model 5M. But the thing about this and the Sears, they had to change a few little things. They had to change this section up in here. Right up in here is a little different than the original Winchester 255. The bolt was different a little bit. I think they had a jewel bolt, if I remember. And the front sight was a little bit different than the original Winchester one. What's really interesting about this particular one here, it has your, where you put your 22 mags, has your opening right here on the side, so it's actually side view. Most 22 long rifles and other ones I've seen would have the loading gate like right in here. So it would be like completely underneath the tubular magazine here. It wouldn't be on the side like this, which is interesting on the side. So that's the first I've ever seen that in my life. Simple, you know, simple lever. But what's really, really nice about this particular one, now I've never held a Winchester Model 255, but it just feels so good against your shoulder. It is extremely accurate. I haven't shot it much at all. And, you know, I'm sure even before me it wasn't much at all. Maybe, I would say less than 100 rounds, easy. 50 rounds, 60 rounds, tops. That's even pushing it, you know. And it's just really taken care of, even whoever had it before me. And, but it just feels so, so good against your shoulder. And when you're even looking at your rear sight, your elevation sight, to your front fixed sight, it just looks great. I mean, it's dead on, it's right on, but it gives you that punch of a 22 Magnum. Doesn't kick at all, and it's just unreal. I mean, this would be great for, well, all around target practicing, plinking, but if you need it for getting rid of varmints, I guess, you know, prairie dogs or rats or whatever, this would be an excellent choice. And I'm sure you could shoot fox if you needed to be, or coyotes or anything like that if you get a nice hollow point 22 Magnum. But, you know, it's not like it was back in the day where people used to hunt for fur and they used to go around getting raccoons and foxes and stuff like that. And this would be ideal for that back then. But the fur business is done, just like a lot of other businesses. It's a tough world right now, strange world. So if you ever come across one of these, if it's a Sears Model 5M, pick it up. You won't regret it. It's one of the best 22 Magnums ever. I mean, for the money. Actually, I won't say they're really inexpensive anymore. They're very expensive now. Something like this in this condition is easily go for $600 to $900 right now. 2 or 3 years ago, you would get them for like 150 to 250, and they would be used, not like this condition. You would be lucky if you get it for 250, 300 in this condition, but usually they're pretty used because of the 22 Magnums. People just love a 22 Magnum. And right now, the 22 Magnum is hot. It's a hot round, it's a hot rifle. Anything you own, 22 Magnum will sell for a higher demand, higher price. So even if it's just a single barrel 22 Magnum, you'll get really good money for it. Minimum $400 or $500, you know. I'm sure the Winchester one has a better receiver, since this is made out of aluminum cast, like even the lever. But again, if you take care of it, you don't abuse it, she'll last. I mean, it'll be fine. You can just see the top of this here. See how new looking it looks? And it has the inspector mark. FJ, I guess that's the inspector, I would think. And it has some of your, I guess, inspector marks on the side here. There's one right here, right there. I don't know what that is, something P. Looks like SP. That's what it is, SP. And here's another one, SP. See? And look at that, look how nice that is. I just wiped it down a little bit. It wasn't much to do this, even when I first got it. It was in really good shape and very clean. But let me just open this lever for you real quick so you can see it, in case you ever come across one. So, there's a number there, I think. That's not the serial number. I don't know what number that is. Maybe the part number. So it's pretty interesting. Oh, sorry. So there you go. Oh, let me get a little focused more on there. There you go. It needs a little cleaning, but not bad. It's not bad. That oil is just up, you know, from years and years. Just needs to be taken apart and cleaned. I don't know how to take this apart. I'm sure you just knock this pin out and this whole trigger system just falls right out. But I don't know how to take the forearm or the barrel off on these. So there you go. Super nice, beautiful, like new, Sears model 5M 22 Magnum. In other words, it's a Winchester Model 255, and they've come out with a, I think there's a Winchester Model 150, there's a Winchester Model 250, and a 270. They're similar to this. It's just some of them don't have the lever action. You know, they have semi-automatic with a tubular magazine, which is like the Model 60. And then I was told by a few people that Winchester had to make, you know, and invent something in the time in the 60s because of the Model 60 came along. And that's when they had to kind of beat them up a little bit. All right, hope you enjoyed this beautiful firearm. Take care.